What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now for something completely different. If you've been following the channel for the last few months, you know that my game it's been rough. It's been a tough stretch. I've been struggling with my swing quite considerably, and I've been grinding away, working really hard to get things back on track. And there's been improvement, but not with any kind of consistency, and definitely not as, let's say, as fast as I'd like to see the improvement. I mean, I do live in Canada. The season is short, so to struggle for 2 months is a long time for me. So today I am at the Nakhjavani Golf Center just outside of Montreal, and I'm going to be doing some work with swing coach Shauheen Nakhjavani. He's a fairly prominent coach on social media. He is a great follow on Instagram, so I will put his link in the description. I definitely suggest you give him a follow. He works with a lot of tour players, and I just figured I would come out and see him, kind of get a second opinion, and see what I can do to get my season back on track. I'll see you guys inside.
Is it recent that you lost it, or in the last couple of months? Last couple of months? Yeah, I just kind of expected it to just, think it's a bad week, it'll come back, and you say that for 7 or 8 weeks, and you're like, okay. Bad ball strike can get bigger for sure. I don't know if they would bigger for 8 or 3 weeks. Yeah, obviously. I mean, there's been some good days in there, but no kind of anybody can time it for a big. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, it's basically just been poor contact, bad low point control, and some pretty big left misses. I mean, there's some right misses as well, but not as prevalent. When that kills you as much? Yeah. Oh yeah. Like, we're talking like hitting the 6 iron like 50 yards off the line. How often does that happen now? Twice around. Enough to hurt. I mean, it should never be 30 yards period. No, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Once around is too much. And there's days where it's 2 or 3 times. And then the days of timing it, I get away with it. Yeah. Definitely feel stuck under the plane, hands behind. Well, give me some background on the history of the game. Like, what are your preferences? I've always kind of naturally hit a draw, but not like a sweeping draw, just a little fall off. The numbers, when I'm swinging well, the numbers are fairly. The bag, you like seeing it draw? Or historically, yes, but now driver, I'm hitting more of a cut. Are you forcing that? Yeah, I'd say, it's something I've worked on. Okay. Because I struggled with driver for a couple of years with left misses, partially due to some injury trouble, but just didn't want to see the left miss anymore. So, what did you do to change the shape on the driver? A lot of it was just set up. It's kind of before left. Yeah, exactly. So get the feet up a little more left. I used to play with my shoulders a little bit shut, so I just squared up the shoulders, maybe a hair open. I just feel like I'm going across and up the forward. I've always had the little, so that didn't really change. No. Less worried about that. It's more your irons that are killing you? Recently, yeah. Yeah, which has historically been the absolute best part of the game. Like, I used to be the guy who hit 16 degrees regulation to shoot like a putt. So I couldn't make a putt. Sounds like me. Now, I'm a better putter than I used to be. Yeah. But, I mean, I still hit a reasonable number of greens, but my proximity is garbage. I mean, the reality is if you're hitting it outside 20 feet, you're not really making birdies. Exactly. So, are you a long hitter? Relatively. Okay, hit some shots. We'll take a look at what's going on. Good move. I'm not going to take much to put it up. Well, my opinion, everything starts with your face. That gets me too strong. Yeah. Personally. You have to understand too, like, the stronger the club face gets, I'll grab a club just so I can kind of give you the visual of it. The stronger your face angle is going to get, there's only 2 ways to not hit it left. Yeah. Either I'm going to lean the shaft. Yeah. So obviously, the more I lean the shaft forward, the more I'm going to push the face right. Yeah. Or I got to start swinging way more right, because obviously, everybody says that face angle controls most of the start line. It's true, but the path has an influence on it too. People don't realize that, right? Yeah. So if your face starts getting too close,
if I try to swing left on it at all, I either need to have an incredible amount of shaft lean to hold the face off, or if I have any sort of speed and push and release on it with the face being closed, guess where that ball's going? You have no chance, right? So part of the problem that I see with a lot of people, especially at your level, your speed, you're going to start to move the start line further and further right by just trying to do something with the chest. Oftentimes, you're just going to take this face and you're going to go, okay. Obviously, you're not thinking this, but just organically as an athlete, you're going to go this way on it, and then you mentioned your hip going forward. Like your hip going forward, it's not the only thing that happens. When the hip goes forward, the chest goes the other way. As soon as your right shoulder drops with the face being this close, it's going to open it up. Fine, you solve your start line problem, but path gets so far right that it'll still draw on you. Literally. And on the bad ones, we start seeing the path kind of creep in that 4-5 range. Like it's too much. It's clearly too much. You know. So the way I like to look at a scenario like this, like you have to. Of course, you want to get the body to move better, but you need incentive for the body to move better. Meaning, if I can take your miss and I can actually push it further right, because the face now gets a little bit weaker relative to where it is. Well, if you did the same thing with your body, where do you think that ball's going to go? It's going to be a fucking high wing spin. You have no chance, right? But at least from there, your body's going to have a lot of incentive to be like, oh shit, okay, now if I can actually cover the crap out of it with my chest and not let this guy just like shift so far forward, you would be able to actually neutralize that at that point and straighten it out. Because the heel balls do is that, right? Like face gets closed, it gets under the plane, I go this way on it, my hands are working away from me through the ball. What's the first point of contact I'm going to have on the ball?
That makes a lot of sense.
It's going to be the heel every single time, or your body's going to go like this to just try to somehow save it. Like in reality, if you don't flip your hands right now, it's a block. So you have no choice to flip it, and it just goes the other way. And with the amount of speed you swing to, your hands are going to take over. No, sure. There's no way not to do that. Just head up to the ball. We'll fuck around with it a little bit. So if I'm you, I'm leaving the left hand grip alone. So I think your left hand grip is actually kind of have a unique grip. Your left hand grip doesn't look that strong, but your right hand is quite under. You typically, with a lot of better players, would see more of the opposite, where the left hand gets stronger and the right hand is off. Is there a reason your grip has always been that way?
Nope, it just always set up. I mean, I don't even know if it's always been that way. It might grow progressively.
It's not something that you would hyper focus on, that you would notice it move.
No. Okay. I mean, I'd be game to even go a little more over it.
On the left hand?
Yeah, I'll get used to that.
Okay. For now, leave the left hand where it is. You start with just the right hand. I'm not going to mess with your pattern too much. So rule of thumb here, I never want you to be able to see this thumb at all. So if you have any visual of the thumb whatsoever, your right hand grip is getting too strong. So obviously for you, it's going to feel much more on top. It's going to feel much weaker. You'll probably push face the first couple.
I expect.
As expected. Feel very, very open. And then with time, what we're going to do, like 5 minutes in, as you start getting a little bit better from the field, I'll start playing around with some things with these guys to get you to stop kind of going this way.
So as long as I don't see any of the left thumb.
That's your only rule. Want it to be something that you can externalize. Not that, because or else if it's like, oh, see 2 knuckles, see 3 knuckles. First of all, I don't believe in that shit, because the reality is, if I stand like this right now, I see 2 knuckles. But if I take my posture over and I go like this, I see 4 knuckles, and my grip hasn't even changed. So my posture of how tall versus how bent over I'm going to stand is going to make me see different knuckles, even if my hands are in the same spot. So you need something that you can actually rely on that's a little bit more consistent. I just want you to be able to visualize that. I think the first 2, 3, we'll see some big blocks. That's cool. Good. You'll notice, even on the bad ones, your strike for the most part should start to center out quite a bit. If anything, you might even start to expose a little bit more of the toe, because right now you're here and then working out that way away from you. Once the face gets weaker, I can get your chest a little differently. And if your chest goes like this, first of all, so here's part of your problem. I'll show you. Go to the top of the backswing. You're trying to manufacture the hands working out in front of you. Right? Let's say, let's say the face is closed. If your hands get out in front of you with how strong that face is, where is that ball? So you have no chance to swing it in there, right? So you're trying to manufacture the hands to do something, but the face angle doesn't actually let it happen. So if you change your grip now, so go back to the weaker one that we're doing. The right hand's going to get a little bit more over, obviously. Move to the top of your backswing. Now, not only is the grip weaker, but keep in mind, the chest is connected to the shoulder, connected to the arms, right? If I now get your chest to cover this, look how much more your hands can actually get back in front of you. But because the grip is not as strong, that face is still going to be pointing somewhat neutral. So it's like, it's a chain reaction where we clean up the face. Once you clean up the face, you can do something different with the chest. And if I do something different with my chest and I just open it up like crazy, dude, my hands are going to go with my... Your problem is, yes, your hips, you mentioned they're going this way, but it's not that your hips are going this way. It's that your chest is not keeping pace with your pelvis. Right? Yes, your hips are going, but my hips can go, but if my chest goes, it's fine. If my hips go and my chest stays back, that's where you get stuck. So we gotta not even necessarily worry so much about this. We'll try to prevent them from sliding, but we gotta speed up the chest, which we'll do the right way. I haven't seen, that's the biggest one I've crossed over. Like 15, 20 feet left. The bad ones that were going left, were they always starting up going left, or sometimes they start right and just have too much curve to it?
No, it's more like starting on line.
The start
or a hair left.
So the start line was the main culprit?
Yeah.
Okay, that do help. Put those on your back so you get confident. Now, what I want you to start feeling is slowly start rotating your chest. And the way you're going to do this, you're going to think of the belly buttons of your shirt, right? Or the buttons at the top of your polo here, that your sternum would be in reality. I never want that falling behind the golf ball. So, yes, but the difference is I don't want you to lean into the side, I want you to turn into the side. That has to come with rotation. So it's, to some degree, it's going to feel fucked up. It's almost going to feel a little over the top. But with the chest. But with the chest. Right. So the pelvis is actually going to stay back in the scenario in order to get there. Because as soon as your hips go this way, the chest
that has to go back.
Dude, we are built to stay in balance. If I'm dead weight and my hip goes forward, my chest is going to go the other way. Right? So in order for my chest to go this way, the hip can't fly down. It'll stay back on its own a little bit better.
So basically just feel like up here and turning over that way.
Okay. Okay. Get ready for some weird feels. It's going to be interesting. It's all coming from the chest in this case.
Not sure how well I did it.
Okay, your path was already at the green less from the inside, so keep in mind, at your speed, dude, and at your level, you're not going to stand here and do it and two swings take do this for 5 minutes. And then what we're going to do, we're going to continue to weaken then a little more. Don't do it too much right away. So, because at your level, dude, if you do too much right away and you see a mix that's almost too out of crazy time, or that your hand feels too crazy, you're going to revert back. So we have to do it incrementally in order for you to actually get to that final result. And even if you were to go out and play events like next week, I'd probably do this incrementally. Like, just weaken the grip, and if anything, even just play with the grip being a little weaker at first. Okay, step up to the ball. That's better. Go to the top. Let's go through these wheels again. So it's almost going to feel like your chest is trying to turn over this foot. So buttons of the shirt, line them up over this side with rotation, not by leaning. So it's not this way. That way. That way. Okay. Like a better foot. Okay. I mean, you're literally going to get shifting your path from 4 degrees where it was to 2. That's closer. Way closer. I mean, that club was like on your back kneecap before, right? So if we can start to get that a lot more in front of you, and you'll see from the hands, even just coming down, like by the time your arms are here, these hands are getting way more out front now.
No.
Typically, they're a little bit.
I was hiding the shoulder with my hands. And that's it, like yesterday.
Right? So if we can start to get the chest to really feel like it's going like this, your hands will work back in front and straighten that path out.
How was the chest move on that one specifically?
Good.
It felt like I was able to kind of get around.
And keep in mind, this is day 1, hour 1 of your workout.
I know.
It's like, if we can even see progress like that in the first day, like that's huge. Obviously, the goal is to do that every time. When the chest goes, let me notice the feet. Every single time your chest has gone better, the half has gone from 3, 4 degrees right. It comes in a lot closer. The two decimal patterns, 2.0 and 1.4, right? Which implies that obviously this has to be moving up and back down.
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice.
Like,
When you move with the chest,
yeah.
go again. Was it the top? You're doing it with the chest, it's almost going to feel like the pelvis is staying back.
Yeah, exactly.
So it should almost feel like your chest is actually getting out in front of the pelvis. It kind of feels fucked up. It's almost like a reverse pivot. You think of it that way.
Yeah.
But when you're so used to going in one direction, pelvis forward, chest back, you almost have to think chest forward, pelvis back.
So I mean, I can.
The goal is to get those two pieces lined up.
Yeah.
When the shaft is parallel coming down,
Yeah.
you want your sternum to be right over the pelvis. You don't want to have so much of it separated.
Yeah. So
That's the view you mentioned.
really feel like I'm really covering it.
Oh, dude, you could go as extreme as you want with that feeling. Trust me. You have space. You have a lot of space to do that.
Yeah.
There we go. That's a lot closer.
Yeah.
Get your strike pattern.
Yeah.
No, I didn't do it. Fucking. Have you ever gone this extreme with the feeling?
No. No, I mean, I would have tried it a few times, but like, no, it's not working. You've gone back to something else.
But that's the problem. You know what it is, too? You're falling to the trap of like when you know too much.
Yeah.
You give other players different feels. It's hard to trust something like this for your own game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's so extreme.
Yeah.
You would never think to do something this crazy. So it's gonna be hard to trust something like this. You're gonna go to the golf course. You're gonna be like, "Well, how the fuck am I supposed to go like this?"
Yeah, yeah.
And somehow the ball's gonna go there and not there. So it'll be hard the first couple of times to go out.
Yeah.
But that's also why it's so important to keep the club face weaker, so the miss goes right first, and then you'll be able to trust it.
Yeah.
Two keys are left hand down the handle.
Yeah.
Right hand covers the thumb on the left hand. And it's the chest move as much as possible.
Push that so hard. If you shut off the screen, I would have told you 6 left.
It's the mental zero.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I don't know if you know, right?
It felt good.
I don't know if you noticed too, by the way, I'm trying as much as possible not to force you into positions, because I want you to be able to internalize the feeling. Because it would be really easy for me to force you in that spot, and if you needed help, I would do it.
Yeah.
But if you're able to actually internalize the feeling yourself, where you can have some sort of aid in the process, it's usually a lot better. So wow. That was the best swing of the whole day, man. Yeah. Definitely the best one of the day. Yeah.
Dude, this is really good. I will take those. I felt like I dropped that behind me.
You essentially completely remove the left miss.
Yeah.
I haven't seen one big left miss.
Oh, no,
Since
not
you pulled out the thing. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like goal accomplished, and then it just went to the field.
Absolutely. I'm going to eliminate one side of my throat shots right now. It's huge now.
The left miss was happening more often than the right one, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, not even close.
Like 80-20.
Except like when the right miss came out, it was, we didn't help because I was aiming right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you catch yourself on the course starting to aim more and more right?
Depending on where the flag is, yeah. Yeah, sure.
But be careful, because the more right you aim,
I know.
Well,
But I was
the more under it gets,
I was in like a damn if you do, damn if you
yeah,
don't.
100%. I get that.
If I don't
Because you aim right to try to start it more right, but it creates more draw. So if it goes left, it's twice as bad as it is.
Absolutely.
But if it doesn't, at least, if you hit it good, it's good, you know?
Yeah.
All right, guys, hope you enjoyed that. Apologies for the sound quality. There's a lot of fans running in that place right now. It's been pretty hot. And apologies that it was so dark in there. In case you didn't quite get the gist of what we were working on throughout the video, I'm going to do basically a full recap of it now. So before going into work with Shauheen, I've been struggling with having the club well under the plane, the club kind of getting stuck behind me here, and also a very, very strong club face. Okay, so this would be strong, that'd be pretty neutral, this would be weak. So if you're getting stuck under the plane with a shut club face, your body's gonna do things to try to fix it. So in my case, what I was doing was instead of my sternum and the upper body kind of staying over the lower body and kind of covering the golf ball, which is a pretty popular term these days, I was kind of doing more of this, right? Just kind of backing out with the upper body. That would get the club in a bit of a better spot relative to the club face, but it would cause some pretty big, I mean, a good shot was a good draw. Bad shots could either be kind of pull hooks or big pushes because the club was coming so far from the inside. If I left the club face a little bit open, it was just being pushed out to the right all day. If my hands got involved, shutting down the club face, that's when that big kind of pull hook would come into play. So it's incredible how much the body responds to the position of the club face. Now, more traditionally, we'll see this kind of happen with people who hit very big slices. Is they'll get up to the top of the backswing with a very open club face, and the subconscious kind of recognizes that and it's like, hey, if I swing down with that open club face, the ball's going to start way to the right. So in order to fix that, the subconscious goes left, right, to fix the start line. Now, it does fix start line. You probably will start the ball a little bit straighter, but with the open club face, now you're swinging across it, that's what turns into a big slice. If that's something you struggle with, I definitely suggest you look at the club face position before you look at anything else. But with that being said, I was dealing with the complete opposite. So the first thing we looked at was the club face. In order to fix the club face, we had to fix my grip. Traditionally, I've had a fairly neutral, bordering on slightly weak left hand or lead hand with a stronger right hand, which, as Shauheen pointed out in the video, is not too common amongst the better players, but this is just this wasn't by design, it's just where my hands have kind of migrated to over time. The grip does change. We barely even notice it. It's like a little micro progression day by day that is unnoticeable to us, but over time is going to make a big difference. And this had kind of happened to me. My grip used to be much more neutral. So the first thing he had me do was just to weaken my right hand, kind of really cover the thumb on the left hand, get that hand more over the club instead of underneath it. So immediately that's going to help neutralize that club face or weaken it compared to where it was in the stronger position. Now that that club face is in a weaker / more square position, my misses went from the kind of from the inside kind of draw or overdraw to now I was just hitting pushes because I couldn't square up the club face. I couldn't shut the club face the same way because of the way my right hand was positioned on the club. Once we saw that, now we could start working on what the bigger muscle groups are doing, specifically with the upper body. And this is where he started talking about me kind of covering the golf ball more, which is going to help get the hands more out in front of me instead of getting stuck more behind me, which is what I've been dealing with the last few months. The feeling there was that he wanted me to imagine that I was going to get the buttons of my polo kind of over my lead foot, my left foot as a right-handed player. And you don't want to do that by kind of leaning into it, you want to do it by rotating over it, right? So now the feeling was weaker grip, top of the backswing, and then cover the ball. And you can see as I do that, even now, the hands get well more out in front of me. Now, yes, that is a drastic exaggeration, but essentially that's the feel we were looking for. We ended up also messing with my lead hand a little bit with my left hand and weakening that a little bit more. So that's more thumb straight down the grip and then right hand covering the left thumb. Right, so this is, for me, compared to where I was, this is awkward. It did not feel good at all, but the results spoke for themselves. Now, he mentioned this in the video. It's very, very tough to make a huge grip change and then take that into tournaments. So I've kind of played around with it a little bit and I have found the kind of sweet spot that's working for me right now. And it's not as drastic as it was when I was working with him, but it is working. And over time, I'm going to try to micro progress towards where he wants me. But at least for now, I am seeing better club path numbers. I'm seeing better face angle numbers that match up with that club path. And I have very, very rarely, if maybe even not at all, seen a big left miss since I've taken this lesson. So without stating the obvious, that has made golf much easier for me. Again, Rome wasn't built in a day. This is going to take time for it to become normal for me, but I have seen an instantaneous difference in my ball striking, the quality of the strike, the directional control that I have over the ball. It's been very exciting because I just have not had that the last 2 or 3 months. And trying to play professional golf when you just don't feel like you have control over the golf ball is very difficult. So all that being said, I'm very excited about what's to come. There's a lot of exciting stuff coming on the channel over the next few weeks, so please stick around for that. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, like the video, leave a comment down below. These are all things that are going to continue to help this channel grow. The more subscribers, likes, comments I get, the more this content will be pushed out to other like-minded individuals. That grows the channel. As the more the channel grows, the more I can put this content out for you guys to enjoy. It's not going to cost you anything. It's free, completely free, 100% free. Helps me out a great deal though. So if you're enjoying this journey, please do me that small little favor. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll be back again next week with another video. Cheers.